Linda Mnisi will share with us a different perspective as well. Linda, good morning. On our expectations today, the KZN DP Elaine Harrison is expected to give her testimony, and we know what her point of view was already. Well, we have a hint, which she's going to hopefully excavate a little bit further today, particularly around the disbanding of the PKTT. Linda.
Absolutely, Iman. And one needs to understand, from way back, from in 2018, when this new PKTT was formed, and some of the things or the strategies that had to be implemented in forming this team. And it was to include things, not only just intelligence services, but also the NPA, who will lead the prosecution and guide the investigations that would go into dismantling political killings in KwaZulu-Natal. And this is something that the province has been dealing with. And as far back as 2011, when that decision to establish that team was formed, it was rearing its ugly head. And you saw a rise and an increase in the political killings, particularly in the lead up to the 2016 local government elections. And what happens there is that the Madlanga Commission is then formed, and some of the things that came out, or some of the recommendations that came out from Madlanga, is to form a team that will investigate and break the back. But we know that because it was not strategized, or the forming of that particular task team was not, strategized, it simply affected the work and the success of that team. And that's why there was a need, Iman, to then make sure that it was in a way where they could achieve arrest, but most importantly, the convictions. And General Mkhwanazi says they started seeing the success once that prosecutorial strategy and intelligence-driven operation was implemented. But Van Rooyen says there was an issue now after the disbandment of the team. It seems the most important stakeholders, the people that would have been involved in the strategic planning and strategic operation of that task team, also did not know about that decision, and a decision that was taken by who? By the police minister, Senzo Mchunu. We've spoken about, how she says that particular letter and that decision was in fact unlawful. And some of the critical things, Iman, that she raises is the need to revisit the role of the police minister in all of this. And she highlights that from the Constitution, it clearly sets out what the role of the minister is, and it is to determine national policing policy. And that is after having consulted with the provincial governments to determine what the policing needs are in these particular provinces. And what's then the role of the commissioner? It's to, of course, manage and control policing services in line with that policy that would have been determined by the police or the national, the minister rather. But essentially, she then takes us back to something that happened not so long ago. You'd recall the expert panel report that looked into the 2021 July unrest, saying that this issue has constantly came up. The clarifying of the role of the minister, saying that even in that report, the expert panel raised, the clarification of the roles between the national minister as well as the commissioner, saying that the opaqueness of that relationship in law, that is, contributed to what was a breakdown in communication, leading to ineffective policing when it comes to containing the July unrest. Now it's coming back again where the issue of this letter, is issued. And she says that letter has implications on the policing. Of course, the failure of the Portfolio Committee on Policing playing its oversight role. But essentially, Van Rooyen talking about the implications of that decision would have a direct impact on the policing and the work that had already begun in that particular task team, which again, Iman, takes us back to Section 205 of the Constitution, which deals primarily with the investigation, combating and preventing of crime. So essentially, that decision was not only an unlawful decision, but the implications were dire on the mandate, the primary mandate of the police service.